Hello, everyone. Welcome to Chelsea Perspective, and also welcome to the very first episode of Fans Opinion. And today I have with me Taron, who is a host on the podcast, The Perfect Hat Trick. I will make sure to leave the link to his podcast in the comment section below at the end of the show. So please don't forget to check out Taron's podcast. Um, as I'm sure that you're very aware of, the buzz right now around the Chelsea fan base and also the Chelsea community is the rumor on the potential return of Eden Hazard to the club. When I heard about it, so I did a poll to find out what the fans think about it. So before we continue, I'd like to show you the result of the polls so you get a glimpse of how the fans feel about the whole situation. Can you see it?
Yeah.
So this particular screenshot here is from Reddit, and as you can see, it has 33 votes, and 7 out of the 33 votes they don't want him back for 40 million. Only one person said no, he's injury prone. 14 people said no, not for a salary of 400k a week, and 11 people said yes, bring him back. He's a Chelsea legend. And for that of Twitter, if you can see my screen, it's a little bit too. Can you see it now?
Yeah, I can see.
Okay, that's more. That has more clarity because it has the percentage of people measure on it. 15% said no, not for 40 million, and 27% said no, he's injury prone, and a whopping 58%. That's a huge majority of the fan base saying bring him back. I don't know. I mean, maybe they don't think beyond just all they want is just they want him back. They don't think other aspect of some, let's say, the possibility of it being a problem for the club in the long run. So I want to get your thoughts on that. What you think about the whole situation? Do you think it's true, or do you think it's just a rumor, or Real Madrid trying to push the rumor to get Chelsea to come for him so that they can, gain some money from, because practically they are at a loss at the moment, and if Chelsea decide to go for him, Madrid will probably gain back some of the amount that they spent on the player. So what's your thought on that rumor, and do you think it's true, or is just?
Oh yeah, I definitely think it's true. No doubt about it. 100%. I think Eden Hazard said in an interview in 2019, he said he wants to come back to Chelsea one day. He said it officially. It's not just a rumor, and I don't think he would just say that. When he left, it took. I think he could have left in 2017, 2018. He waited until he was like 28 years old until he had to leave. He'd won a trophy for us. The Europa League, won 2 Premier League titles. So, yeah, I think he definitely will come back one day. Like, there's no doubt about it, whether he'll be 33, 34, similar to like Didier Drogba when he came back to Chelsea later on in his career. And I definitely think the rumours are true. There's no doubt about it. Whether Real Madrid are trying to get money back, I think they could, because they spent, 120 million on Hazard in total, including that bonus after winning the Liga last season. They definitely need to make some money back on him. There's no doubt about it. They aren't using him correctly at the minute. He's getting injured a lot. I feel like he's hit a stone wall in his career where he's been played so much throughout the years. I believe he only missed 20 games in 8 seasons for us, and I think he's hit a brick wall where he's got injuries. Real Madrid have realised that, and I just think Florentino Perez is being quite smart about it. He could say, "Yeah, I'm going to keep paying him," but he doesn't want his wage bill anymore. He needs to earn some money back, some value back. Real Madrid are in heavy debt at the minute, hence the Super League drama. So I think the rumours are definitely true to answer your question.
Yeah, that answered my question, but I have a concern, and the concern is for £400,000 a week, that's his wage. Don't you think in the long run, when it's time to renew contracts of some players, because the truth is, at the moment, almost the whole team, almost all of them are not earning half of what Eden Hazard is earning at the moment. So should the club bring him back when it's time to renew the contract of the players at the club? He would want the players would want at least something close to what Hazard is earning. So that would probably create a bubble of financial issues for the club. So I'm concerned that the club wouldn't want to bring him back, except if he would agree to take a cut, a salary cut, then maybe it's a good idea. So what you think about that aspect of his salary and how it could cause a problem in the long run when the club negotiates with other players, they would want something close to what Eden Hazard is earning.
This is how I kind of see the matter. The way I see Chelsea now is, even if it's just training videos, I see a really good team bond. You know, not many, I say, strong individuals in the team. Yes, we have Havertz, we have Werner, Pulisic, but I do see a good team bond at the minute where the players aren't thinking, oh, he's bigger than the other. I believe the highest wage for our club is N'Golo Kante, and that's 300, I believe 280, 300. Then Chilwell's near close. And I don't see many players in this team. Say Juventus, for example, they have Ronaldo, clear, he's definitely the biggest guy in the club. I feel like that does unsettle the team a little bit when you have a guy who's such a big name in your team. For example, teams like United, Fernandes, that's going to unsettle the team a little bit. But I say we have a good, strong. If we bring in Eden Hazard when our team is growing as a unit, not just relying on him anymore for goals and assists every season, we just used to pass the ball to him, expect a goal, expect something magical to happen. We're having a good team bond at the minute. I think Hazard will unsettle that, in my opinion. I think we're just going to go back to how we were in the past, which is not where I want this club to go. I want the club to go in a good direction where we have 11 players in the team who play as a unit. We don't rely. If Hazard was injured in 2018, 2017, who would you put there? Pedro? Is that the same? Definitely not. And that's how I want our team to go. So I think having a guy who's on 400k a week in our team is going to unsettle everyone, in my opinion. All these players you think, yeah, I'm going to have a big shot at Chelsea. I want to grow. I want to get better. They're going to see Hazard coming in and think, oh my God, like, what's the point anymore? He's going to hinder my development. The club are just going to rely on him. We're going to, mollycoddle him a lot more as they did in the past. I just don't think 400k is substantial unless he takes a wage cut, which I don't think is very likely at this stage of his career. We've seen Willian when he was 32 when he left Chelsea. He wanted, upwards of 200k a week to stay at the club. And I don't think Hazard is going to take, a 200k, 150k wage cut to come back to Chelsea. I think it'll be like 100k maximum. And that's not good enough, in my opinion. So, yeah, I think 400k is an absolute joke, in my opinion. That's what you pay the big dogs, the big dogs. Ronaldo, Juventus, I believe he's on 550k a week. And we can't afford to make Hazard our big name again. We're Chelsea Football Club. We need to develop as a unit.
Yeah, you make a great point because from what I've seen so far, you can argue that Hazard's issue is that he likes to be in a team where you build the team around him. And it doesn't look like he performs well when he's not the main guy in the team. Because truthfully, he carried Chelsea for quite a number of years. But that's a problem because when he's not performing, the team is in trouble. So, and I think you could argue that one of the issues he's had at Real Madrid is that he's not the main guy there. He's not even the person that takes the penalty when they have one. Ramos does. And I think if you know Hazard quite well, if he's not the center of attention in most cases, he doesn't perform. So I think I get your point, and you make a very good point that it wouldn't be a good idea to bring him back at the club. It will unsettle the team in some way, even if it doesn't right now, and then it will create an issue from a financial perspective in the future. What if the club brings him back, decides they want to bring him back at the moment? What do you think about his because I've read some stuff online where they say his injury issues is something that has to do with the Madrid medical team, that they're known not to be efficient in taking care of players. What do you have to say about that?
Yeah, I think the injuries are definitely a thing. You remember Hazard for Real Madrid hasn't been clutch goals, clutch moments. And this is a Hazard we haven't seen over the years. He's been a guy who's played upwards of 35 games a season, whether it's FA Cup, Champions League, Premier League, Carabao Cup, EFL Cup, Europa League. I could go all day. He's a guy who plays most games. And it's frustrating. See, I don't know what's happened. I think the Real Madrid medical team, Chelsea have always been known to have a good medical team. Even since Eva Canera had that sad exit, we've always had a good medical team with not many serious injuries. I'd say even since Thomas Tuchel's come in, we haven't had that many serious injuries. Kovacic maybe, Andreas Christensen, Mendy now. We haven't had many serious injuries. And I think Real Madrid, obviously, every club doesn't have the same medical team. There's going to be good medical teams, there's going to be bad medical teams. And you look at Real Madrid's injury list this season, Danny Carvalho's been injured. Varane's been injured.
Crazy.
Sergio Ramos has been injured. I could go through the whole team. They've all probably had a little niggle, a little injury this season. And it's not, I say it's a linear correlation how the injuries are happening around Madrid. It must be the medical team, the overlap. And that's not just saying the team who look after the injuries, as in when someone gets injured. It's the team who work out the overload of the players. It's the medical team who work out, say, if you play 4 games this month, then they'll give them a rest. It's the team who work out the mathematics of this. In Chelsea, Thomas Tuchel says in press conferences, we're going to rest Havertz because of the overload. We're going to rest Pulisic because of an overload. He always mentions this. And that strikes me that our medical team is better. And if Hazard comes back, that's kind of saying, will he have as many injuries as he's having now? And you kind of think about it. Is he hitting a stone wall, or is it the medical team, or is it a bit of both? I think it's a big debate to have. And I'm not quite sure. I'm not actually a guy who's going to comment on that too much, because I think it's a mixture of both. I can't quite put 55%, 45%. I think it's a mixture of hitting a stone wall and the medical team around Madrid, and that's how I kind of feel about it. But yeah, I think it is quite sad what's happened to Hazard at the minute. As Chelsea fans, we still want him to do well. We want him to obviously be seeing him banging in goals, being the main player since Ronaldo left as well, Real Madrid. And what have we seen? Just a guy who's frustrated. We've seen him in the dressing room before the game, in an interview or whatever. Well, not an interview. I think it was like a video. He looked absolutely distraught at being around Madrid at the minute, and it's just sad to see, because he's he's definitely one of my favorite players to ever put on the blue shirt. And this shirt behind me right now is Eden Hazard on the back, because should I actually just bring up right now. This guy's an absolute legend at the club, and I don't want this to happen to him.
Yeah. I mean, his record at Chelsea, I think nobody can take that away from him. And I like it that his departure from Chelsea, it wasn't as messy as that of Courtois. That's why fans respect him. Although there are a few fans who understand that it's a risk, him coming back to Chelsea. It's a big risk for the club, and also financially, I don't think it makes sense. And I was gonna ask you, do you deep down believe it is something that's gonna happen?
We're gonna have to see. I think it's a bit early now. What is it, June? It's not even June yet. It's not even hit the transfer window. I think we have to kind of develop, see the athletics, see the time, see these other big stories that come out. There's a lot of players we're linked with at the minute. I can name 15 or 20 off the top of my head. There's Tchouaméni, Kane, Lukaku, since Conte is about to be sacked by Inter Milan. There's a lot of players who've been linked. So if we sign, I don't know, Jadon Sancho, which could happen soon, then obviously not. I don't think we're going to sign it. If we sign Lukaku, then I can see it happening. I really can. If we sign a CDM, it depends who we're signing at the minute. But deep down, I think it could happen, honestly. And I think Chelsea is something that Chelsea could do to kind of, after the Super League drama, after everything that's happened with Frank Lampard, I think it's something that Abramovich could possibly do to try and, get even with the fans. As he's done. Yeah, exactly. That's what I think he could do. He's done it in the past with other players. He's done it with Drogba in 14-15 after everything that happened with Di Matteo and other players and other managers. So I think it could definitely happen. I'm not putting it past Chelsea. I think 40 million is not something that Abramovich will think 100 times about paying. He'll think, 40 million, it'll be good for the fans. It'll be good for, the club in general, maybe not financially, but for the club, the players to work around a legend like Hazard to try and get better. I think it could definitely happen. The wages, if the wages can cut down to maybe 200, 250k a week, I wouldn't be surprised if he does it. I don't know. What do you think?
The truth is, in knowing how much Hazard loves the game, it is very possible. And right now, you can say he's actually seeking for, that is, a way out of Madrid. If you see the way he's behaving, I don't think he's happy. Like when he enjoys himself, you and I know him quite well to see. You see him, he will be all smiles all the time when you see him. But these days, it doesn't seem like the Hazard we used to know. And I think, I can see Hazard agreeing to cut down his wages to come back to Chelsea, because he loves the game. He really likes to play, but another stumbling block will be the signing of Sancho, the signing of the likes of Lukaku. You can't ask them to take a wage cut because you're signing them, and probably will be in the 300s or 250 or so, and then that takes the wages of the whole players is going to be really high. So if the club is really planning to sign Haaland, maybe Lukaku or Sancho or anybody else, I think they will take that into consideration and wouldn't want to be spending so much, too much money on player wages. So I don't know. Like I've seen lots of I mean the in the Chelsea fan base community, it's been quite an argument about it. It was in some cases you can say it's literally a fight, a physical fight. Here in the arguments always say, we don't want him. He's injury prone. It's too much money. And then again, that takes me back to the point you made regarding how we're building a team or unit, that operates as one entity and not to try to build a team around a single individual. And I think that makes perfect sense. And given the issue that Tuchel had at PSG, the big name players, the issue he had with big name players, he might not want. I mean, you can say Hazard he's a humble person. You can say that. Yeah. It's just the only thing negative thing I've heard about him is that he doesn't train as well as his teammates do. Maybe, I don't know, that may be an issue because if the club wants him back, I don't think they would decide they would make that decision without Tuchel being part of that decision to say, okay, we want him back. He could say, no, I don't think we want him here. We'll unsettle the team, which is very possible, like you explained. And I mean, it's crazy. And we're still in the that is debating that one. And then today, you heard, I don't know if you've heard it, that Willian might be coming back to Chelsea. That's another crazy one. And my question was, okay, he hasn't won the Champions League that he left Chelsea for. Maybe when he wins it, he can come back. What's your thought on that rumor on the case of Willian?
Yeah, my thoughts are, well, my personal opinion, if I want it to happen, first of all, I know I'm going to get a lot of stick from this, from you, from other fans. I actually wouldn't mind Willian coming back. If it's for less wages, he tried to get 200k, if it's for 100k, 110k, I definitely would take him back because we're short on wingers at the minute. He's a guy who can come in, who can rotate when Pulisic isn't playing well with Hudson-Odoi. And I think he could work in the system under Tuchel. He's a guy who's very good in transition. He's good at picking up the ball and trying to drive with it, trying to create counterattacks. We've seen it against, Man City in 16-17. It was on the counterattack when he scored against Man City. He's done it on many occasions where he's been very good. And I think Tuchel could work with him. He's a player I'd say he's very flexible. He can play in many different positions, in the middle, on the left, on the right, even right wing back. You can put him there. He could probably do a job.
And he's a fine finisher too.
Exactly. I think we've lacked goals, maybe an assist. And is it due to Willian leaving in the club in the summer? Maybe because he did get quite a lot of assists last season. He scored penalties, he scored free kicks, he scored goals on some occasions. He's not scared to take players on. And let's not forget, he has Premier League experience. He knows what to do. At Arsenal, I'm actually going to blame Mikel Arteta for the reason he hasn't done well. Arteta maybe hasn't utilised him correctly in this system. I really want it to happen. I think if it's for a wage cut, I'd rather have Willian come back than Hazard, and that's my opinion about it.
Yeah, I agree. Is he saying do you think he will take a wage cut if he comes back to Chelsea?
Yeah, I think he will take a wage cut. He's 33 now. There's no way he's going to still want 200k. That's the reason we got rid of him in 2009, 2020, because he wanted upwards of 200k a week for 32. Chelsea don't usually give 2-3 year contracts to over 30-year-old players. Arsenal, obviously, what you call Charity FC, BTEC, London FC, they're obviously going to do that. And I think he'll come back and he'll understand that we have Pulisic now, we have Hudson-Odoi, we have players coming through, we have Havertz, we have Werner, we have other players that can come in. Lukaku could possibly come in, very likely right now, in my opinion. And I think he'll understand. He's not going to know, I'm going at 200k. Marina's definitely not going to take him back if he wants that much money.
I'm going to let you know why I doubt that the possibility of Willian coming to Chelsea. But the truth is, I want him back because his industry and I think the issue he's having at Arsenal right now is just the way he's being played, the way he's been deployed in games. There's some rumor that there are interest from the US, especially the David Beckham's team, Inter Miami. So they probably will pay him much more than Chelsea will be willing to pay. So if they're truly interested in him, I don't see him coming back to Chelsea. That's my argument. Do I want him to come back? I still do believe that if he comes back to Chelsea, he will do better than he's done doing right now at Arsenal because he feels at home at Chelsea. It was probably, and I don't blame him for leaving the way he did. He wanted like 2 years or 3 years or so, and the club wanted to offer just a year. Exactly, the club wanted to offer a year extension, but I will still argue that Willian, I don't see him coming to Chelsea if Inter Miami really wants him because they pay in bulk. And they pay quite a lot of money. They pay more money than Premier League clubs do in most cases, you know. So I don't know if I don't see that happening, and I haven't done a poll yet on that aspect. But from what I've been reading online, the fans it doesn't seem like they want him back because the issue was that he left Chelsea for a rival club. That's big. You get my point now? So. What you have to say, I do believe you must have read some stuff online yourself to see that the fans don't want him back. Some are calling him a clown. Some are saying it's that if he's going to come back and become the mascot for the club and something like that. You know, you and I know how crazy the Chelsea fan base can be because we're so spoiled that you know we always want it perfect. But what do you think? If you've read some stuff online yourself, do you think the fans really are going to welcome him back?
Yeah, I've seen people calling for him to be the ball boy, actually, not the mascot. The mascot's a new one I've heard, so he could be collecting the balls at half time. But for me, in my opinion, when David Luiz left for Arsenal, I was fuming. And I don't know why that is. I can't explain it. Compared to Willian, I actually wasn't that angry because I felt with Willian that, you know, he's had, 9 years at Chelsea. It was time for him to leave. Arsenal are a declining club. They're not really our rivals anymore, in my opinion. Like, in club level, in rival, in location level in the UK and London, there are rivals, but I don't see Arsenal as a team who, when I play them, I'm like, we need to get the win here. We're a team who, if we lose, it's game over. When I see Arsenal, I'm like, you know, the Arsenal, who even are they anymore? They're a nothing club. They're not maybe that much, but that's kind of how I see Arsenal. So when David Luiz left, I felt like he came back in 2016-17. He did well, in my opinion, in 18-19. He should have stayed for a few more years. He's a guy who we needed under Frank Lampard. He's a leader. He could have helped with our shaky defense last season. We had Zuma, who is definitely not a leader, in my opinion. We had Rudiger, who did not suit the system. We needed Luiz last season, and he left in sour notes. I was absolutely fuming. That's why I cheered when David Luiz got sent off against Chelsea at Stamford Bridge. With Willian, I was like, you know, who really cares? So I would definitely want Willian back, and maybe not as a guy who's going to start every game. A guy who's going to start every 3 games in the FA Cup, in the Premier League here and there when we need him. Who's a guy who can come on, provide experience, who has versatility. He'll fit Tuchel's system. And I think I could definitely see it happening. All the Chelsea fans maybe are being a bit over the top just because how poor he's been this season. But let's not forget, how crucial was he to us getting Champions League football in 1920? He scored crucial goals when we came back from the lockdown. He was crucial before that. Maybe he doesn't have as much end product as he used to in the previous seasons, but I think we could definitely see him coming back, in my opinion.
Yeah, I like I said, I'd like to see him back, but the case of David Luiz, it's an interesting one because on 2 occasions he's proven that he's not a loyal. I think on the first time he left Chelsea it wasn't messy, right? He was sold, but the way he left and then he celebrated when he scored against us, and then again his departure to Arsenal when the club needs him the most. He doesn't help. His behavior doesn't help his reputation at Chelsea. You know, it's not good. I was furious too. I couldn't believe that he would leave Chelsea for Arsenal. And Willian's case is different. It was just the circumstance that the club doesn't want to offer more than a year or so, and he wants 3 years. You know. We could do with an experienced player like Willian, who knows the club very well, and I do believe Willian truly deep down loves the club. And we must also, when we criticize these players for refusing to take a year extension but wanting 3 years instead, we must know that they're Brazilians, and most of them do come from a very poor family. You know, they're also it's work for them. You know, they have to earn a living, you know, and support their own family and something like that. Yeah. Hopefully, like I said, the issue in the case of Willian will probably be if Inter Miami is really interested, they will offer him more money. That's for sure. And if that's the case, he might not come back to Chelsea, you know. Yeah. So, On a final thought, Taron, what do you have? What message do you have for the Chelsea fans regarding the potential return of Eden Hazard to Chelsea?
Yeah, I think don't be upset if it does happen. Don't be upset if it doesn't happen. Don't beat yourself up about it. I know sentiment is a big thing among Chelsea fans. We're not a club who like another club in the Premier League who we're playing in a few days who, the fans don't really understand the sentiment, the history of the club. I know Hazard coming back would be amazing for all the fans to watch our hero, my favourite player personally of all time at Chelsea. It'll be a big thing. But if he doesn't come back, we'll keep building this strong unit. We're building with Mason Mount, with Pulisic, with Werner, with Havertz. These players who are slowly coming together into a team now. And I think the thing that Chelsea were lacking over the years was definitely the fact that we relied on Hazard. I think it was a good thing, obviously. He won us trophies, but if he was injured, we would have been screwed at that time. So if it doesn't happen, don't be upset. If it does happen, don't be upset. So yeah, it's a great thing of Hazard, but if Willian comes back, don't be upset about that either, because he will do good things, definitely. He's a Chelsea guy through and through. So is Hazard. But, all I have to say is we have to win on Saturday. And I know that's not regarding the topic, but come on, let's win.
I think we have to win. And I'm quite confident that we're going to win. And the good thing, I prefer when Chelsea go into games as underdogs.
Yeah.
These days, usually when we say, we win in 4-0, 5-0, I don't trust it that much until that game is done. But when people are saying, Chelsea are going to lose this one, I like to watch that game, sit and watch it, because that's when you see it. It seems like when the game gets tougher, that's when you see the best out of our boys.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty confident. And we're underdogs. That's one thing I like the most. And coming to Eden Hazard again, I was going to ask you, are you confident that the Chelsea medical team are going to be able to manage his injury and keep him fit if he does come back?
Yeah, it's 50-50 for me. I don't know 100%. I'm not quite sure if he's hit a stone wall or if it is the medical team around Madrid. I don't think it's a Chelsea medical team. They're not Harry Houdini. They're not all these magicians. They're not going to tap their wand and he's going to be back to normal. It's definitely not going to happen. If he comes back, he's going to have some injuries, and that's not say it'll be a hamstring injury here and there. It'll be a thigh injury. It'll be a calf injury. Something like that will probably happen. And I'm not 100% confident that it will happen, but I'm not writing it off completely. What do you think?
I doubt it. I still have my doubts. Again, his case is just the same thing as Willian. Do I want him back? I want him back. But you made me think about something that really I'm concerned about right now. That's causing a problem. That is how do I say, causing issues, but team chemistry. That is team chemistry. Understand, and also causing problems in the dressing room. I've had doubts also from a financial perspective, causing the club problems in terms of players wanting more money or to be on a par with him in terms of wages, But yeah, I don't think it's going to happen. It may have been, like I said, it may have been Madrid's propaganda to to get Chelsea to come for him so that they can at least recoup some money from the amount they spent in securing his signature. But if it happens, I will not complain, honestly, because I do believe Tuchel will find a way to make it work and not let it be a problem for the team, And Taron, I am very, very happy that you did find the time to grace the first ever fans' opinion on Chelsea perspective. And I look forward to having you on the show again, or maybe other series that I have. I appreciate your input.
No worries.
I know you're very, very knowledgeable of the club and the game also. And I'll make sure to leave the link to your podcast in the comment section below so that people that watch this will see it and follow you and
thank you.
Enjoy your podcast. Thank you very much again for coming onto the show. I appreciate you, and I'll reach out to see when we'll get together again and do this one more time. Sure. Thank you, Taron.
Thank you.
Cheers.